All right, drive safe, Dave. Good morning, buddy.
What's going on, man? We are doing it a little bit different today, a little remote action.
Yes, sir. Reporting live from Chicago. Drive safe, Dave. I landed yesterday, and it was snowing.
That's crazy.
I left the month of Texas to come to a place that it was snowing, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah. By the way, it's 75.
Hey, Dave, I was excited because I thought I was going to get to go mask-free on the plane. Fake news, brother. I'm telling you, fake news. I had to wear my mask.
Today's the day. I think it takes, they said, 24 to 48 hours to implement the
Dave, it's simple. I just take it off. It's really easy. You just don't put it on. You take it off.
Yeah, but you know how it is. People got policy and procedure, and there's methods to everybody's madness. They're all like, no.
How do they actually enforce policy? That's what I want to know. How does anybody enforce a policy? It's just crazy. So hey, but drive safe, Dave. Yeah. So it was. It's going to be weird, right? To see people at the airport with no masks on, to see
people's faces.
Yeah, and it made sense, right? Because I was thinking to myself, you know what? This mask mandate is going to go away because they just brought back America drinking on the airlines. So here's the deal: if you're drinking, you don't have to have a mask on. So either you're going to have some people just drinking way too much, they never have to wear the mask, or you just get rid of the mask.
Well,
they didn't allow social drinking.
Well, I'll tell you, a district court judge ruled yesterday early that the CDC had overstepped its guidelines. Yeah, they do have the right to talk about, also do stuff, but they had completely overstepped their guidelines in mandating masks on public thoroughfares across the country. So that ruling was actually shot down yesterday. We don't know if the president's going to appeal. The executive branch is going to appeal that decision today by the judicial branch. But I will tell you, it's far-reaching. That's for all TSA. That's for all trains, planes, and all. That's Uber. That's all of it that you have any type of public transportation across the country. Basically shot down yesterday. There was several videos online about people making an announcement on the airplane in flight last night. Cheering going on. Cheering going on.
I tell you, man, this will be the day that lives in infamy, right here. Remember the 19th of April, folks. That will be a day we start celebrating when the mask mandate was lifted.
Yeah, when we got to actually see people and smile and I don't know about you, Rick. I have a little bit of a hearing problem. You can tell by how loud I talk, but I have to see people's mouths move when they're talking because I can't hear very well. And part of what I do is read their mouth while they're talking. And when I've got just a mask moving, I get about every other word.
I thought the whole thing, when we think about COVID, some weird things that happened from COVID and the masks and the protective. You think about all the plastic that went up. Well, you just went around it because nobody could hear you through it. So you just put your head around it and say, I said.
Yeah, or lean under that little slot underneath and talk.
Or you take the mask off.
You'd lean down there and talk in the hole. Yeah, absolutely.
We couldn't figure that thing out. I tell you, it's crazy what a mask can do. I mean, how it can just kind of jack you all the way up. A simple mask, what it can do to you. But yeah, it did. You okay over there?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I was just worried about you. I saw the detour sign, so drive safe, Dave. I see the detour signs. I was wanting to make a right to follow the detour around. What are you doing, sir?
I'm
actually spill something.
No, I'm messing with stuff. I'm trying to mess with the system here. Y'all left me in charge, which is probably
just stick to the camera. That's all you got to do. I don't know what you're looking for over there. You looking for the speakers?
Yeah, I was looking for the speakers. I think it was just a little bit loud.
Hey, but Dave, so I do want to touch into one more thing. I know, you know what, before we do that, let's do this right here. Dave, we need to go to a quick break. We need to talk a little bit about our buddies right here. Look, I'm Sir Rick. I'm representing here in Chicago, going a little safety. You know what? I am at the hotel. People are looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude? What is going on with him? Who's he talking to over here? Hey, so Dave, so funny story before I go into this. And let me tell you something. This works. You know what? I feel like Superman when I have my clothing on here. And Dave, the clothing is from
UtilityProwear.com.
Yes, and you go there, BCB20 to grab a 20% discount, and you too can look like this. But hey, Dave, I'm going down the escalator, and there's a lady that's going down with her. She's got luggage and a phone, and she doesn't know what to do. And my whole time, I'm thinking in my head, and she's laughing. She's like, I don't know if I can go down the stairs. And I'm thinking, put your phone away. Just that's all you got to do, and you're free. But she was like holding the phone. She's like, I don't know if I can do this stuff. And I said, so I went over there in my thing. I said, ma'am, can I give you a hand? And, and it was like she felt relief when she saw Sir Rick coming up there in the safety gear. And you turned around, Dave, to tell me thank you, and I was already gone. Who was that?
The only place I might be a little wary of that safety gear showing up would be in a subway. I mean, I might be wanting to check and see if you're carrying any bags.
Kind of eyes, different set of eyes on me. Yeah, from now on, that will never be the same. Right, go to the subway with your safety gear on. Hey, drive safe, Dave. Let's go to a quick break. We'll be right back. This is BCB Live. You know what? Little break here. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, so Rick,
Dave,
you are back.
Back and better than ever. Hey, Dave, I want to talk about this. So I logged in this morning. I called you up on the phone earlier because I went into one of the big it was FreightWaves, and in front headline news is this article from JB Hunt saying that, they see volume is strong and the smaller carriers are the one that's really going to have to worry about it, as, all those with contracted rates aren't going to feel it the same way. And Dave, I've been saying that for months. And you know what? I'm tired of people stealing our ideas from us. I'm tired of them watching BCB Live, and because they're bigger than us, they take it and they say what we say, and it becomes cool. It becomes factual.
Breaking news.
I'm giving fake news.
Yeah, breaking news. Breaking news now, right? Rick said it.
Without a doubt.
Rick said it January. Yeah,
I've seen some of that stuff, Dave. I do. I shake my head on that because it makes me just wonder a little bit. And Dave, I may have just lost you here trying to get.
Oh, you're good.
I see you. Hey, Dave, I wanted to talk a little bit though, just about what we're seeing on the freight side. When it comes to that sonar data that we use. And if you don't mind, Dave, can I take over that screen if I can figure out how to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go right ahead. I'm gonna. Now, I know we've done this before. We did a little test. Usually it takes a second for it to connect. All right. Hope we didn't lose. It looks like he locked up on me. Well, there you are. There you are.
Hold on a second, David. I got like 18 screens going now. Bam. Here you go.
There you
see my outbound tender?
Absolutely. It's on the screen.
All right. So here we go right now. Here's the part that I want us to look at. So, Dave, I think it's critical that we see what's happening right now. So in that orange, we see the fuel pricing, and what I wanted us to look at is a 3-month snapshot. Fuel is up 38%. Okay, we see in the blue there at 16%. That's volume. And Dave, I'm going to show you a screen here to really emphasize how much volume is down, but it's down 16% over a 3-month period. Then we see in this purple, and I think this is the most critical thing that what JB Hunt was talking about. what we've been talking about, and that's that spot market pricing. Dave, the pricing's down 20% right now, 19% over the last 3 months. So you just go back 3 months ago, life was good, but your rates are down 20% nearly, and the rejections, and those are the JB Hunts, those are the bigger trucking companies, the C.H. Robinsons, those carriers with the larger carriers with the contracted rates, Dave, hey, spot market rejections are down 51%. And the reason why that is because all of a sudden, these strong rates are starting to hold. And because all of a sudden, the big boys, these large carriers, these large brokers are starting to control the market. Dave, rejections are down 51%. And I want you to kind of, and I'm going to bounce back on this here, on the screen here. We're going to go back and look at a deeper dive into the volume. We look at 3 months ago, Dave, and look at where it was at 15,000. And then you see how drastic this volume's dropped. And I know we're coming on an Easter break, and it'll take us a week to get back shipping again. But, Dave, we're at 12,000 shipments. It is significantly lower right now. But what I want everybody to remember is that life's not over. It's not the doom and gloom, I don't think, because as I bring in this other screen, Dave, you can see the years past. Yes, it's not the 15,000 shipment we saw last year. But look at every other year, Dave, still hurtling below that 10,000 mark. We're still a couple thousand over what was typically a very strong period. So it's not doom and gloom, I don't think, right now. I do believe there's still so many challenges out there. There's not enough equipment out there. That there's so many things that, Dave, that the big trucking companies that they can't do to get in the way of this. They still can't get trucks. But again, Dave, my worry goes to that independent contractor, that guy that started his business last year on the high side. He bought everything high, not just the tractors, but the trailer, the insurance, and based it on these rates that didn't make it. And Dave, when you think about this right here, you think about when you go back and you look, we're going to go back again and look at the 3-month drop in pricing across this country right now. And that's that purple. When you think about that, Dave, that means that on that spot market rate, those folks were getting about $3.50 a mile. And 20% off of that is 70 cents a mile. That's 70 cents a mile off. And then you take that fuel price, 38% increase. Hey, Dave, if fuel was $3.25, which it was kind of where it was at 3 months ago, at 38% increase, that's $1.38 or another 19 cents a mile. So, Dave, just like this, 3 months ago, we are down. That carrier, that spot market rate, that independent contractor is down 89 cents a mile roughly on their rates. Dave, that's $2,200 a week of cash.
Yeah,
How are they going to make?
Yeah, if not more. I mean, it just depending on if not more. That's dependent upon the lane. That's dependent upon everything else. But if not more, but $2,200 a week is a lot of cash that you don't have coming in that you budgeted for. That you've already, that you budgeted for all your numbers based on last year's numbers. I mean, it's going to crush. It's going to crush a lot of small carriers and a lot of independent contractors.
Yeah, Dave, and that's what that JB Hunt was referring. That's what we've been referring to the same way. Is that, listen, it's a market play right now, Dave. I don't know how they make it again. So what that tells me is this, and you just tell me if this makes any sense. Is that those independent contractors that began their own authority last year, I'm not talking about the independent contractor that has been in business for years, that has had their truck for years. I'm talking about those that began last year. And we saw a lot of businesses open up last year. I'm saying there's no chance they make it. I'm saying they're not going to make it. I'm calling it now. I don't know how they make it. The market's not going to turn around enough for them to be able to make up for these, for the high rates they bought these trucks at. There's just no chance. They're just treading water right now, and I don't know if they can make it to June or July. The market, I believe, will start turning itself around a little bit back in July, August again, but I think it's really going to turn itself around because they're going to go away again. Yeah. Freight's going to come back up. China's going to open back up again, and then all of a sudden we're going to be kind of in that segment again. But I do believe with what JB Hunt's saying, and Dave, and what we have been saying is that the larger those carriers with contracted rates, I believe they're still going to have one of the best years they've ever had. 2022, I think, for most carriers of size, is going to be a great year.
Yeah, the contracted rate has continued to rise. I mean, the contracted rates have continued to go up and up and up, and there's no reason to get rid of it. I mean, there's no reason not to take the freight, right? I mean, with the market the way, there's just no reason not to take what you get, and you're going to continue to take more and more right now where it's at and what's going on. I do feel for the independent contractor. I understand. Where do they run and hide, Rick? What's your advice? Where do they run and hide?
What do you mean by that, David?
I mean, at some point, they got to make a decision with that equipment. They got to make a decision. Where do they run and hide?
Here's what I'm going to say. So we are at the high right now, still of the market, right? We're still seeing trailers out there, Dave, and we saw trailer values come in that we believe that we had a $45,000 trailer or $43,000 trailer, whatever, and then they come out and, hey, by the way, it's going to cost you $8,000 more. Okay, so you think
surcharge
$8,000 more than what we had just already had. We already had a 50% increase, and
right.
Now we're getting another $800 per trailer or $8,000 per trailer increase, Dave. So it's still a great time to get rid of your equipment, and for the independent contractor out there, Dave, I feel like it's almost time for them to go back and align yourself with a trucking company. Go back and find a carrier that's paying mileage or even percentage, because their rates are going to be stronger than yours. Get on their insurance, get on those things there, run a good, solid business. You just may have to put your pride aside for a second. I think, Dave, what I think my advice to those carriers that went out and began their business is set aside your pride for a second. Make a business decision, because I don't think right now for you, the business is to be out there running on that spot market freight. Align yourself with a carrier that runs safe, that can give you, those running lanes. And dadgummit, David, they've got to believe that they're what they experienced in rates last year will probably never happen again. They were the highest rates we've ever seen.
Right. It was definitely an anomaly. I mean, it's not something that's going to happen every year, and I don't even think peak season is going to.
I don't think it can happen again.
I don't even think.
I don't think, David. Let's go back to a little COVID talk on this, because if COVID makes a comeback, or if there's a new COVID, whatever that is, I don't think we will ever do what we did last time. I think we've gone back and we've looked at it, and I think that at the end of the day, we're going to have to create. We're going to have to mask up. I think people are going to have to get that booster, whatever that is, to make yourself not get sick. Right? You're going to have to go do that as a human. Shutting down the economy. Let me tell you something. That can't happen again. And nor will it. I don't think that will ever happen again, Dave. I don't think the country could afford to do that again.
No, I don't think so either. And I'll tell you, and we talk about it. I'm going to tell you that as long as fuel prices remain extremely high, it's going to continue.
When's that going to stop, David?
I don't. As long as fuel prices continue to remain high and exacerbate inflation prices, because those are continuing to be passed on to the consumer. And that as long as fuel prices remain at an all-time, and constantly high. I mean, they've leveled off up there, and they haven't really fluctuated at all in that high area with diesel. And as long as those stay up there, I think we're going to continue to see serious depressions and inflation continuing to continue on. I don't know. In my opinion, we all have our own opinions. I think we start pumping. And I think we start putting.
How do you not pump? Here's my thing: is the war's not going to end anytime soon. And if the war ends, does that mean we're going to open back up and go back and start funding Russia again,
no.
Or has that well been dry? Is that well dried up for us?
I think for the next few years, I think for the next few years that well,
right, David?
100%.
You look at the war crimes that are going on right now. We can't go back and start buying that again. So what are we going to do? Do we go back and lose 10 years off the greenhouse and all the sustainability? Well, maybe we just have to. Maybe we've got to go back and drill again and get our own be more sustainable for ourselves first right now to get through this. Let me tell you something. These prices, these prices we're seeing at the pump, and the inflation. And Dave, a lot of this it's our own doing. It's from a lot of this inflation we see. Do you agree that this comes from shutting down the country?
Oh, absolutely.
Giving away all that money?
Yeah, I think I truly believe.
Are we ever going to charge the kids for college, or is that free too? Seriously, when do we stop giving away this stuff? We're paying for it, folks.
Yeah, we can't. We have to find ways to create and pay for what we buy. You know what? And we're going to have to do that. And as long as we don't figure that out, we're going to have some serious problems. And I truly not sure, but the oil companies that they're looking at, Venezuela, how is that a great investment? I don't even know.
Thank you.
I mean, that wasn't a great investment in the 70s. It was so dangerous, and because of the instability of the economy and the instability of the government there, plus the corruption, unchecked. But that isn't a great investment. And
we were there 2 years ago, almost, right? I mean, with the gas and the pot. We were there. We got to get back to We've got to do that, folks. Let me tell you something. Is it any better to we take the money from Putin and do we give it over to Venezuela? Is that the answer?
No.
To let them start their thing? It's not the answer.
No. Or any other. Oh, so we go to Iran? Is that where we go to give them the money? I mean, you want to sit here and let me give you a list of the OPEC nations that are out there that are just dying for our opportunities to take I mean, we're not talking, and so Rick, we're not talking about a little bit of cash. We're talking about hundreds of $1 million a day funneling into their economy, being able to buy and purchase and do whatever with it as they wish or deem necessary, which to me is a scary proposition, right? I mean, who would we be funding if we gave it to Iran over there and started buying their fuel? I mean, the seriousness of the situation is without question unchecked, and we've got to, when we have the solution underneath our own feet,
Yeah,
literally. Yeah, and all we have to do is turn around and go, wait a minute, guys. Let's look at a 5-year deal. I'm not looking at a 50-year plan, but what about a 5-year deal where we take some of the proceeds and invest it in the future in green and whatever it is you want to do? And I don't care, but there's no reason we can't pump here and invest in pumping here. I'm just saying, but that is for the solutions to the world economy here at the United States.
Dave, they don't listen to us. I'm telling you, man. They don't listen to us. It's out there. We see it with everybody. They report the news. We say it how it is. It comes out later on. You talk about we're worse than Fox. Nobody listens to Fox mainstream. Nobody listens to us.
Yeah, we don't have a political agenda. We just have a cash agenda, right, Sir Rick? We don't really care who's in charge as long as it's helping this country benefit in the pockets and helping everybody be able to go out and buy eggs and bacon and buy gasoline and take care of their families. We've got a serious issue, and I don't see that turning anytime soon as long as fuel prices remain high, Sir Rick. I don't anticipate, and I don't care that the Fed run out and punch another hole in the economy at another percent. That's not going to solve the fuel prices. I mean, that all that's going to do is make more people not go out and spend money. And there'll be less demand because nobody will have any cash to go out and buy. That's not what you want to do.
Hey, Dave, let's jump it into. I know we're getting close to that 7:30 mark there. Let's jump it into another crisis, and it's Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
What a crisis that is right now. The deaths that occur every day on these highways, on these roadways, from something as simple as a cell phone, not picking it up, not using it. And Dave, there's so many other distractions too, right? We have the distractions in our mind, but folks, as we talk about Distracted Driving Awareness Month, if you need to go back and relook at on our YouTube channel, or you can go back and look at LinkedIn, BCB Live, and there's a couple of interviews there. One with Shelley, one with Kenny Ray, and you hear the passion from them on Distracted Drive, and their passion was because they lost a loved one, a kid, a child, because of distracted driving, and that's the seriousness of it. Is it only takes a second, Dave, with this cell phone, right? Before to look at your phone, and there's a heck of a screenshot here that I saw from Kenny, and I may see if I can grab it one more time from you if I can. I don't know if I know how to do it again or not. I think I've already lost it, so forget it. I'm over it.
That's
I don't
okay.
know how to work my computer.
That's okay. Look, I mean, but it's not like who we're talking to doesn't understand the topic at hand. It's not like who we're discussing doesn't understand the messages that have been going out day after day, and we've been bombarded in the media. We've been bombarded the seriousness of the situation. But really, Rick, what we're talking about is that choice that you make when you get behind the wheel. That choice that you're ready to make before you get behind the wheel. Are you ready to make a decision that says, I'm not going to look at that today? You know what? I'm going to throw it in the console, and I'm not going to get it out. I don't care if it dings, beeps, buzzes, and vibrates. I'm going to leave it where it is until I come to a complete stop. It's not that important. How many times over the last couple of weeks have you been driving down the road and you drive right next to somebody looking at their phone? I mean, and it just continues on and on and on.
Got here. I want you to look at this. Can you see my screen here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me flip it over to
this
you.
right here, because this really did open my eyes a little bit. So you look on the screen on the left, and that's just Drive Safe Dave driving down the highway with the vision that you have. And you see that all the time with people holding that phone right there. That way they can keep looking at the road and not be distracted. But Dave, you see your eyes, where your eyes are. All of a sudden, you've missed everything out. You're not looking wide. Your eyes don't have that vision that you had without that cell phone. Isn't that a crazy video right there on what you're really focused on now?
Yeah, you're limited on your ability to see, and you're not paying attention. I mean, what you have is I mean, you're not paying attention to what the most important thing you're doing when you're behind the wheel, and that's driving. I mean, you're driving a deadly machine out there. I mean, even if it's just a four-wheeler, you're looking at 4,000 to 6,000 pounds rolling down the freeway, and they kill every day for over 40,000 people. And then and if you're in a big truck, you're looking at an 80,000 pound vehicle. And that kills over 5,000 people a year. So you're looking at a large number of people dying every year. And I'm not attributing to all those deaths to distracted driving, but let's be honest.
It's one death. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we would just for one day
absolutely
not put our phones away, how many lives, how many accidents, how much money would we save across this country if we all said one day, I'm not picking up that daggum phone today.
4,500 people one day alone wouldn't be injured, Rick. 4,500 in a single day wouldn't be injured, let alone be killed. 4,500 a day. That isn't even, I don't even know how that's possible, but that's the number that they come up with. And that just is mind-boggling that across this country there's that many accidents occurring because of this thing. How is this?
For sure.
How is this not? I think it's going to come down to at some point that it's not going to be just a monetary deal anymore, Rick. I think it's going to come down to bigger, maybe even, I hate to say it, maybe even jail time. I mean, maybe even, I don't know, maybe no longer just a traffic ticket, but something a little bit more severe.
Yeah, I don't know when that line draws. But then again, Dave, I'm a big believer in that. You know, we have so much technology today. Is that, you know, we've got to start using the technology the right way. We can't be afraid. And when I say the right way, Dave, I'm really referring to, you know, we've spoken to and we've had some of the truck manufacturers just talk about the big truck. Well, if the big truck shouldn't be within 4 seconds of a car in front of it going 65 miles an hour or faster, whatever that is, well, then why do we allow it to? I mean, you know, that means that we've got to go back and we got to fix these lawyers that are going out there and jumping in and suing all these people. We can't be afraid, Dave, of technology because of I don't want the lawyers to come after me. You know, because all of a sudden, you know, now I made that decision. You know what? How many lives were saved to that maybe technology messed up one time or two times or didn't work the right way? But how many lives are going to get saved if we use it the right way to not allow us to get close, to shut the cell phone off if it's sitting right there. What are we afraid of, Dave?
It's being inconvenienced.
I don't even think that, Dave. I think, like tort reform, we've got to get that in there, right? These lawyers, companies can't be afraid. The truck drivers, Dave. I'm going to go with the truck drivers. These folks are out there driving, and Dave, they just kick butt out there. They are so safe out there driving. They do so many things right that, Dave, they shouldn't get thrown to the jail, thrown to the slammer. The trucking company shouldn't get the same thing, shouldn't get sued like crazy because for 1 second, 3 seconds, the driver just lost focus. They do their jobs 99% of the time, all the time. And who else is out there doing it? Hell, Dave, if you bat a 300 in baseball, you're making millions.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You're on my team. Yeah, and you're on my team.
200 average in bowling, you're a stud. And yet these drivers who are doing it 99% of the time, all the time focused, they lose the distraction for 1 stinking second. Bad things happen. Yeah. Technology, though, Dave, can help that, is all I'm saying. That technology can come in there and step up when that driver isn't doing it 100% of the time. When they're just that one moment that Dave they don't realize how close they are to that vehicle in front of them. Well, if technology doesn't let them get there, then there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
they won't be there because they can't get there.
So we asked that question to some of the manufacturers. We asked that, and
they don't want that. They don't want to be the ones that have to make that decision. They like the human making that. So if something bad happens, that's what I'm saying. We can't be afraid of these lawyers suing us for doing the right thing. Technology can save us in so many things. It can get rid of so many of these deaths that are occurring daily. All of these claims that happen. I'm talking, then bodily injury claims. All these guys that call me the hammer. I'll sue them. You've been hit by a truck. You've been, what about you, the driver? That carries no insurance, that's in the way. And Dave, we see the videos driving crazy all over the place. What about them? Let's sue them. That's what I'm saying. Is like, hey, how come we don't have a law guy out there suing the drivers for driving like idiots, Dave? Same thing. Where are they at? Because you know why? Because they don't carry any insurance.
Yeah. Here you go. What do you get? There's no money in it. They're not investing for that. I mean, they're not. I'm just saying, there's not investing for idiocy. That's actually free.
It just doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, we do things. When it comes to safety, Dave, we should always do the right thing. And I think we've got to continue, Dave, to write our congressmen, to our state representatives. We've got to let them know. And the truck driver, you out there, you play a big role in this. You've got to make sure that you're doing things, not just sit back and complaining about it at the truck stop. But you've got to get on the phone. You've got to write your congressman. You've got to do something to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? It's going to take an entire movement. But it's going to take each one of us. It's going to take each one of us.
Get involved with the Atria. All of those studies they do. You know what? When you log onto their website, get involved with some of those studies that go over what happens on the roadway. Let your voice be heard. We must be heard out there on that road.
Yeah, especially the experience. I really like it when the drivers get involved, and Atria does a great job of going out there, sending out surveys, and drivers responding to those surveys. Really makes a difference, and I think it's the only way truck parking was ever going to be emphasized without the driver's input, because they're the ones that directly feel the impact. Even though all of us indirectly feel that impact, it was going to have to be the driver's voice that carried that weight in order for it to happen. All right, I will tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to have Double Check Dale give us a little bit of weather and get ready for some safety. Are you ready, Rick?
I'm ready, sir. You be good. Drive safe. Dave, thanks for having me on the show. I'm going to get out of here because I think I'm going to slow you down a little bit. So you and Double Check Dale. You know what? BCB Live, we're lucky to have two studs like y'all on the show.
All right, we'll see you later. Here we'll be right back on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
So there's no board?
Huh?
No weather?
No.
So I'm just supposed to
You just kind of talk about the weather and then
go Al Roker.
go Al Roker and then.
Stay on front of the camera. We're going to talk a little bit of weather right now. Hey, don't have the board up this morning, but a couple things going on. You know, out in the east, we were talking about having a nor'easter, lots of snow and rain and everything. Before I came in, I took a look at the cameras out there in West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does have a couple of restrictions on up in the northeast corner of their state on a couple of the roads. The major roads in Virginia, West Virginia, according to looking at the cameras, are really in good shape. Most of the snow and problems will be up in the higher elevations. That's where you're going to see the issues out there. Other things going on today, you know, it's pretty calm right now, but we're going to see the winds pick up through the central United States again today, up into Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle. Southwest Colorado is definitely going to see some winds later this afternoon, as will Nevada, parts of Arizona and Colorado. Right now, Donner Pass on 80, chain restriction in place up in there because they are getting quite a bit of snow up in that area. So that in a nutshell is what's going on with weather today. And with that, Dave, what we're going to talk about next?
Well, let's talk a little bit about safety. I know you came in here. You're in safety. You're a safety director. So let's talk a little bit. Let's just pull the trigger on this a minute. Okay. What topic are we going to discuss today on safety?
Well, before I even get there, you know, you guys were talking about this distracted driving, and Texas DOT just put out a memo on this. You know, Texas DOT urges drivers to pay attention amid a 17% increase in traffic deaths involving distracted driving. So in 2021, we saw a 17% increase in deaths from distracted driving. What you guys are saying, we just got to put the phones down, just have to pay attention to what's going on. This week's safety topic, defensive driving habits. You know, yesterday we talked about just slowing it down. Today we're going to talk about increasing the space. You know, one of the best defensive driving habits you can have is adjust your driving behavior for the unexpected actions of others and pedestrians by increasing your space. You know what that means? Slow it down. You know, and the great thing is, one of the things is I love looking at the videos because we talk about unexpected actions of other drivers and pedestrians, lawnmowers going through intersections, riding lawnmowers going through intersections, ambulances falling off the back of things. And so, I mean, there's a lot of unexpected situations that come up. And if we're slowing down, if we have that space in between there, it gives us a whole lot more reaction time. So, you know, defensive driving habits this week is our topic. Increase your space, slow it down.
All right, and with that, hey, you know, just so you know, I actually have gone out and captured a great video of someone giving the exact perfect space. So I want you to watch on the camera and you tell me about this space between the driver and the truck in front of them.
Wow.
And he's not letting me.
Just.
I'm putting my blinker on to pass him, and he's not letting me.
This is crazy.
You know, Dave, just kind of speechless. I mean, you know, this is, you just have to back away from this. Just get away, pull off, let this get away from you, because, you know, obviously this driver is, and I don't know what's going on that he's not letting her around, or what's, you know, the whole story is here, but that's just crazy driving. That's just aggressive driving on the truck in front. The car behind just has to just let it go, because to try getting around at this point is just going to be unsafe in a lot of ways. Crazy video.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, it's imperative upon all of us to understand how important that we continue to do the right thing out there on the road, right? And we talk about it a lot, and it's a simple measure, but you come into challenges like this when things like this happen. This is not good. This isn't a good portrayal of the trucking industry, right? I would not put that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. All right, let's continue to go on to some other videos. Are you ready?
I think I am ready. What do we got going on here? Look at this. Got some. Big picture, speed and space. You know, the driver just stays back on this, focusing on, you know, what's going on around him. And so run it again, Dave.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here on this video. I just want everybody to see it. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of traffic going on, and I guess the thing, you know, when we talked about that space right here, we're probably about a half-second following distance so that car moves out of it, and so, you know, you just have to increase the space. You know,
yeah, that's part of the topic. What we're talking about today is increasing the space. Even though the car's moving over, you still have to maintain a good distance, right? It's not even a truck distance between you and the vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed. You know, that's just too close.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd love to see how this video goes out, because, you know, one car moves out of the way, so we've got the space back, but now we're starting to close in on that white vehicle that's ahead of us. And so we just have to, you know, make sure we increase our space. We have to let the traffic pull away from us and not just continue to close up on it and get into more tailgating situations.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the next video.
You know, we're going to talk about this one here. It's a stale green light. We always talk about intersections being dangerous and everything. And if I counted it out, when it changes to yellow, the driver has about 3 to 4 seconds time to get stopped there. You know, we have to make this right decision, because by going through that stale green light, that yellow light, you know, if there's anybody following us really close, we've just led them right out into the middle of the intersection. Also, folks, you know, it's stale green light. It changes. We have to stop. You know, if it would have been a hard break, not all hard breaks are bad, Dave. You know, sometimes we have to get there. But with the time that we had and the speed the truck was going, I truly believe there was plenty of time for the driver to react and come to a safe stop in this one.
You know, and as we continue to talk about it, and I just want to make sure that it's that we understand the decision-making process as we approach these lights. We want to know, are you willing to make life-saving decisions, or are you in a hurry? What is the cost analysis of this? Best case scenario, if you run it, you don't hit anybody. Worst case scenario, you kill somebody. If you stop at the light, worst case scenario is you lose 60 seconds. Best case scenario, you don't kill anybody. So there you go. In and of itself, that's in a nutshell. Best case, worst case, best case, worst case. And I think by stopping, you save a life in the long run. Now, you may move through it. There may not be any issue. You may not have any problems, but we are talking about making good decisions here as we move forward. Are you ready for the next one?
I am ready for the next one. You know, this one out where there's a construction zone going on. You can see the barrels. You can see they're doing some work in that other lane. Driver's doing a great job of holding the speed down. And there goes that four-wheeler, double yellow line passing them. Just a crazy pass. You know, whether he thinks there's enough line of sight to make a safe pass or not doesn't make a difference. It's illegal to pass on a double yellow like that. Well, you know, we're in a construction zone or a road place where they're working on the roads. So you just have to be patient, just have to practice that patience. Driver does a nice job. As soon as he sees that vehicle coming around, he slows down a little bit and just, you know, lets that vehicle get away from him even a little bit quicker. Just another crazy four-wheeler out there passing on a double yellow.
Yeah, you want to understand, and I appreciate the video that the driver sent in on this and understanding that, yeah, drivers driving around passing in a no-passing zone, but But we're going to encounter these, right? There's going to be moments when the other guy is breaking the law. It's how you react to it and what you do very much determines the successful outcome of what's going on. But yeah, you don't want to pass in a first of all, this is a construction zone. It looks to me, you're all limited to the left side of the road. I mean, you're limited to, and what they've done is they've divided it into a oncoming situation. You just have to be careful out there with what's going on and be very mindful of these situations. And you're gonna, you know what, truck drivers are gonna get passed, right? I mean, they're gonna get zipped around and they're gonna disregard. All right, next video.
Increase your space. That's what I'm going to say. Just we need to increase the space here. Just back off a little bit. We're going to get there. Just increase the space. Slow down a little bit. Make that lane change and when it's safe a little bit sooner, so we're not, in this situation where we're just too close to the vehicle. These two vehicles are just too close together, and so we just got to back off a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what? It happens, right? It happens. You come up on a slower moving vehicle and you find yourself behind that vehicle. You just got to be, and when you catch yourself behind this vehicle, slow down, back off, and then change lanes. Control the lane, but you know what? You moving over, getting in and going around, it's something that you're going to have to do in everyday life. I understand that, but let's look at it. You're traveling along here way too close to this vehicle for too long at a high rate of speed. I mean, you're within 1 second of the vehicle in front of you. So you got to be mindful of that situation 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be diligent about it because sometimes we get distracted. We're looking at other things. We're thinking ahead a couple steps and everything, and then all of a sudden we realize, hey, holy cow, we may be too close, need to take action for it. So just have to make sure that we're diligent on, what's going on in the big picture and right in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. Another one. I like some of these videos. Okay, here we go. What's going on here?
A lot's going on here, just not a lot of good stuff because, again, we're tailgating and we get ready to pass and we got oncoming traffic. And granted, there is, a lane for that one to move over, although it's farm equipment, which tends to be a little bit wider than the lane. And so, again, it just goes, just a little bit of patience. Just slow down, just back off a little bit. Make sure when we get ready to make that pass, another second or two and that tractor's past us, ahead of us. And then when we finish up, we're in a double yellow zone. We're passing someplace where we should. And so it just comes back to, just being a little bit more patient. A minute or two later, at the end of the day, we're still going to get there if we do it the safest way possible. And passing and finishing your pass in a double yellow is not the safest way possible.
Yeah, just be careful and mindful of what's going on out there and understanding how important and trying to time these things with that farm equipment out there in an oncoming. I'm just telling you that farm equipment has stuff that sticks out that's hard to see. I don't know if you, there's things that hang off of. I'm not sure, but there are things that hang off of a tractor all day long.
Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of times that farm equipment's a little bit wider than the tractor, a little bit wider, sometimes a lot wider than the tractor, takes up more than that full lane.
And difficult to see what's hanging off of it.
Yeah. Big picture here, speed and space is always, so important. The driver's doing a great job here, but you can't get caught up in focusing on the first thing that's happening is you got a vehicle pulling over because the one in front of him was thinking about pulling back in the lane. So you just always have to stay focused, looking at the big picture, assessing the hazards, and making sure we're watching the whole picture in front of us. And so, a lot going on. Driver does a lot of great stuff here. Space was, so important in this one.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm just going to suggest that you when you do slow down and you control this lane, that you allow these vehicles back into the lane. They've obviously gone over there because they were afraid that they were gonna, and now they're looking back and they see this big truck barreling in. They don't want to get rammed by this big truck, and you are the big truck. So put your hazards on. Make sure everybody sees you slowing down in this lane in this heavy traffic, and allow these people back in and to get back into the flow of traffic and not be trapped over there off the side of the road, because now there is no escape for anybody coming up behind you. Let them in, and you're not going anywhere. I mean, you're typically not going anywhere, but I tell you what I do like about this, the driver does have a well enough space, timing, pays attention, sees what's going on, is able to come to a stop, and sees a lot happening going forward.
Yeah, just a lot happening in that video. You know, when you have 3 lanes of traffic and it's slowing down, construction zone, there just is so many things to be processing, and so, you know, if we're not distracted, it makes it so much easier to process everything that's going on around us. Like I said, you know, you got a Jersey barrier over the side, you got a guardrail, you got a construction road sign taking up part of the breakdown lane there, and so much going on. Just always impressed with everything that the driver has to process and do it in a hurry, real time.
Yeah, and here we go one more time.
Yeah, that's.
And the truck fucking comes over into this lane. And so I'm trying to get around this truck, and he won't let me get in front of him. He's literally gonna fucking kill me. He's gonna kill me. Okay. I'm trying to go around him,
You know,
and he's not letting me. I'm putting my blinker on to pass him, and he's not letting me.
Okay, I'm just going to Dale. First, what do you think?
you know, David, she said that he's going to kill me. He can only kill her if she tries to make that unsafe pass. Right now, she recognizes and realizes that something's going on with that truck, and he's not going to let her around. So just back out of it. If you don't try passing him, right or wrong or whatever else, if you don't try passing him, he can't kill her. And so just back away from the situation. You know, I've heard Sir Rick say it, slow the chaos. You know, so if she slows down and just gets away from him, he can't kill her. And why he's doing what he's doing is beyond me, and it doesn't make a difference at this point. It's just reckless on his part, and as long as she exhibits patience and doesn't try getting around him, everything's going to turn out okay.
Yeah, I think as we continue to talk about it, I do like creating space. You know, we talk about speed and spacing. I guess that's probably one of the biggest themes here, 100% of the time. And topic 1 being this week was speed, slowing down, and then topic 2 is spacing. So there's a big theme going on here. It's not, and you know what's great is it's not a big shock on how to do it. We just get caught up in the moment. We get caught up in the time. These things change so dramatically, moment to moment, second to second, out there on the road, and how you react accordingly is necessary in order to maintain success. And yes, it is a constant battle to be focused and to do the right thing, right? I mean, it's not easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy out there. That's why the licenses are A licenses. That's why the truck drivers have Super A licenses. But even if you have a C license out there on the road, ever vigilant is necessary.
Yeah. No matter what class driver's license you have, I mean, you still should drive with respect, courtesy, and within the laws. I mean, you know, that's part of having a driver's license, because if you don't obey the laws, if you don't, you know, react courteously, get into accidents, you're not going to have that license, and it doesn't matter what class it was.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. All right, we're going to go ahead and say a quick prayer. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
That will take it.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Father, give us the strength and the power today to go out and make a good difference, a better difference, a meaningful difference in the lives of not only ourselves, but someone that we come into contact with. Help us to be a blessing no matter what we do or how we do it in somebody's life today. Father, we ask that you protect all those on the road and help us make great decisions. With that, we ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen. All right, everybody. Have a great and wonderful day, and we will see y'all tomorrow on
the safest station in the BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Boom. Thank you, sir. Good job.